Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Ian Albert Beale, and he is one of the longest serving characters in EastEnders, and this is part of a new series called the Character Files series, a bit like the Comedy File review series, but this time it's on characters, so it's the Character File review series. And I'm going to be talking about Ian Albert Beale from EastEnders. So, Ian Beale first debuted in the first ever episode of EastEnders way back in 1985, and he has appeared in more than 3,000 episodes of EastEnders, dating all the way from 1985 up until he left in 2021 and then came back in 2022 on the 12th of December last year. That's how long he's kind of been on the show. I'm going to be talking about certain storylines and just Ian overall as a character. So let's get into it. Ian Beale has been at the centre of EastEnders since the very beginning. He appeared in the first ever episode. His parents were in the show as well. Ian is so connected to the show that it's technically the Ian Beale show, really. But he's technically so close to it completely. He owns a chain of businesses on the square, obviously Beale's Place, and also he briefly owned the Queen Vic, but not for very much long. And he also owned the Calf, and he also owned Walford East. So yeah, he owned quite a lot of restaurants. A very, very good businessman to an extent, because he's done things like fraud. Some of the things are really bad. He like nearly drowned Dennis Rickman. So he's done quite a lot of bad things in Albert Square. A lot of people seem to hate Ian, particularly Phil Mitchell, who literally hates him so much. But the only reason they have to get along is because of Ben Mitchell, who is Ian's half brother. So yeah, quite a complicated story for Ian anyway. Ian has also had 5 wives, but he's been married 6 times. He was first married to Cindy Beale. Then he was married to Mel, and then he was married to Laura, then he was married to Jane, and then he was married to Jane, and then he married Sharon, which I think is a really odd mix, and the whole reason Sharon kind of wanted to marry Ian was so that she could kill him. Crazy, if I'm completely honest. Only because of what Ian accidentally did. He accidentally locked Dennis in a boat. If I say accidentally, Ian did it on purpose because he had previously bullied his son Bobby. So he kind of took his revenge back. But his bad decision was a bad decision because it ended up with the death of Dennis. But the thing is, Ian does have a good heart at a point, so he rescued Dennis, but it was too late because of the water on the boat had stripped them away, and then they both unfortunately went under the water, and obviously they both had to be resuscitated and all that. But Dennis unfortunately died in that tragic incident that happened in 2020. Believe it or not, that's 3 years ago now. That's crazy. But that's one of the storylines that Ian went through, and then obviously Sharon, because of her rage, she immediately wanted to poison Ian, kill him, and do all this kind of stuff to him. But at the end of the day, he did lock him because he was angry at the time, but he did try and save him. I think that goes forward to a point that he did try and save him, but knowing Ian as a character, he eventually walked off from Albert Square after he found out that he was being trying to poison, and he's so sorry for killing Dennis that you feel his sympathy. And he walks off, never to be seen again until 2022 rolls around, December 12th. I was watching EastEnders that day, and suddenly Ian was there. He literally came out from behind a bush and said, "Goodbye, Doc. because it was Dot's funeral, and he turned up and he said goodbye. I thought that was a lovely moment. And he called this mystery woman. Whoever this mystery woman is, we don't know. It could be Jane. A lot of people said could have been his adopted daughter, Cindy, but we just don't know. We just don't know at this point. So it could be anyone. Who knows? It could be Pete Beale, his dad. His dad might be alive. You never know. You never know what happened these days. In EastEnders, people come up from the dead all the time. So I don't know. Since Ian first walked onto Albert Square in 1985, he has had 5 children. 5 children. Stephen Beale, who is not actually his proper son, but he's his adoptive son, because obviously Stephen's dad, he doesn't really know or have any connection really to Stephen, because obviously because Ian was with Cindy at the time when he was born. But this made Ian very angry when he found out Stephen wasn't his, so much so that he literally drove up the road and his car, or slash van, flipped upside down and absolutely smashed pieces. And that wasn't very great. Ian could have got seriously injured there. The other child he had after that was 2 twins, Peter and Lucy. So they were the 2 twins, and they were twins a bit like how Pete and Pauline were twins, so the same kind of things like that. And basically, to cut a long story short, Lucy gets murdered. This happens in 2014. She gets murdered by her younger brother, Bobby Beale. And Bobby Beale is probably the least likely suspect to have murdered someone, but when this came out in 2014, it was very... Oh no, actually 2015, correct myself there. When that came out that he had murdered Lucy, it was like kind of an accident really, but not really to an extent. A lot of this stuff's kind of confusing in EastEnders, but all of this stuff, but this really affected Ian, because not only was he losing his daughter, he was losing his son as well, because his son got 3 years in a youth detention centre, and then also, to cut a long story short, he lost Lucy, his one proper daughter. And I feel like that was probably very sad for Ian, as he lost everything, and then suddenly his mum came back from the dead. So I feel like that's quite a shock to many people all in the space of about 6 months. I think that's quite a lot going on, if I'm completely honest. And yeah, that's what kind of thinking on that. I feel like that's very sad and also very odd, very random. But then again, EastEnders is fictional. So Cindy Beale Jr. Is the adoptive daughter of Ian Beale, and she's very much connected to the Beale family, partly due to the fact of her mother being Cindy, who was married to Ian, which means when she died, she kind of fell more into Ian's protectiveness. So Ian's got 5 kids. He has got quite a lot, if I'm really honest. But yeah, that's what I kind of think about his children, really. Moving on to Ian's family, he's obviously very related to the Fowlers, who are probably one of my favourite families, beside the Beales, obviously. But he's got family. He's got his aunt Pauline. He's got Mark. He's got Martin. He's got Michelle. He's got Arthur. He's got Lou. He's got lots of family, if I'm completely honest. And also he's obviously got Kathy, who's his mother. He's also got Pete, and Pete's also dead. A lot of them are dead now, which I think is very sad. But all of these characters, I feel like, are really great, and they're really fleshed out very well. Particularly Ian, because he's been there such long, for so many years, like, appeared in more than 3,000 episodes. That's just crazy. I really want to see Adam Woodjack return, because I feel like his character is so good, and the way Adam Woodjack plays him, I feel like, is just amazing as well. He's been on our television screen for such a long time, 37 years of EastEnders. This is the only year that he's not made any appearance yet, as we speak. But he did send a Mother's Day card to Kathy, so that could be a hint to him returning. But never say never. So yeah, I feel like Ian Beale, credible character, absolutely love his character. So much so that I want him to return so badly because it makes the show a lot better. And also, I'd like to see how him and Sharon would react after the poisoning that took place in 2021. We just want to see what's kind of going on there. And I was hoping that Ian was going to buy the Vic this time round, because obviously he had it in 2021, and then obviously that stuff with Sharon happened. So yeah, so I hope it's him, but I now know that it isn't him because there's got a new family called the Knights moving in. So I guess kind of not, but maybe Ian's connected to them. Maybe he fell in love with one of them. You never know, because he was phoning that random one, whoever she was. So yeah, I feel like Ian Beale is just an incredible character. So many years on the television, so many years of character development. He's had a lot of heartache. He's had a lot of loss, and yeah, Ian Beale is just amazing because Ian Beale keeping it real. Yeah, so that's an amazing character. Truly my favourite character in EastEnders, besides Martin and Mark Fowler. They're two of my favourite characters. He's also got quite a unique relationship with his half brother, Ben, and also his other half brother, David Wicks. He doesn't really get along with either of them particularly, but yeah, he's got quite an interesting dynamic with his family. And he's one of the only characters to not really be recast in EastEnders as well, which is a lot to think about. I feel like you can't really recast Ian Beale because he's Ian Beale, if that makes any sense. Adam Woodyatt is Ian Beale, so I guess you can't really recast him after that. But I would love to see him return, and Ian Beale, brilliant character. And yeah, I'd just like to end it with Ian Beale keeping it real. Goodbye for now, and I hope you enjoyed my first in a series of character file reviews. And I'll see you in a video soon enough. Bye for now.